Hello, everybody. I hope you're well and having a great time this week. The topic for today's video is the effect of controlling mothers on adult sons. This is going to be a three-part series where the first part is an overview about the effects of controlling mothers on adult sons and their relationships. The second part will explore specific patterns that adult sons exhibit, and the third part would entail healing. Let us begin with the first part, that is having an overview about the effects of controlling mothers on adult sons and their relationships. So usually a controlling mother is a very narcissistic person. She is also usually very angry and critical and needy. Typically she is coupled with a beta male or an omega male who is much weaker than she is and also subservient. Usually he tries to meet her needs to keep her anger off, but she is so critical of him that he's unable to do so. So after a while of trying to cater to her needs, he actually dissociates himself from her emotionally and might also drown in various addictions like alcohol, etc. So effectively he's not able to meet her needs going forward and they don't have a good marriage. But the woman, as we spoke a few minutes before, is extremely needy and requires constant attention. So in the absence of her husband meeting her needs, she usually turns to her son to meet her emotional needs. Now this is a role which a young boy is neither ready for nor should actually be expected to perform. But then the young boy has a lot of love for his mother and wants to make her happy, and so he steps up and actually starts fulfilling her emotional needs. Fulfilling her needs can be actually doing as she says and actually being controlled by her and never offending her, to actually meeting her more important needs that a partner should be meeting. So the young boy ends up doing this for his mother. Now as he grows up, he spends more and more time with his mother. As a teenager also, he spends more time with his mother as against time with other males or his father or male relatives. His mother is extremely angry and critical, and he is usually attuned to her moods, and he knows how to second guess and read her moods so as not to offend her. As time passes, he becomes so emotionally attuned to her needs that he gets emotionally melded inside her. This is called enmeshment. He doesn't know where he ends and she begins. This is an unhealthy pattern, and due to this pattern, he does not individuate the way a normal male does when he grows up, and all his life he unfortunately remains monogamous to his mother. Despite this monogamy, he has a love-hate relationship with his mother. There are parts of her that he loves because when he meets her needs, she makes him feel very special, that a boy his age is not made to feel usually. But also there is a price that he has to pay for being made to feel special, and that price is that he is controlled by her. So when he grows up, he subconsciously vows that he will never be controlled by a woman in his entire life. Also, let's look at the messages that his parents' marriage passed on to him. The message that his parents' marriage passed on to him was that men are supposed to cater to the needs of women and caretake, and women are supposed to control men. Also, he had a father without any boundaries, which was also a difficult thing for a young boy to understand, and nobody modeled boundaries for him in his parents' relationship. The subconscious message besides this which was sent to him by his parents' marriage was that he was not good enough. This message was sent to him by not loving him adequately for who he was as a boy and expecting him to perform a particular role. It was only when he performed this particular role that he would get praise and encouragement and love from his parents, primarily from his mother. So he was actually shamed at his core and not made to feel loved for who he was. But the specialness that his mother provided was actually something that resulted in grandiosity and kept him away from his core shame. So while deep down his core is flawed, the grandiosity keeps him away from feeling this core shame, and he usually projects a one-up or better than kind of stance than other people. But deep down he does not feel adequate or complete or confident that he will be able to meet the needs of other people. And when he is taking any risks or when he is meeting new people, a part of him also feels fearful that he might not be able to live up to his expectations, which stems from the fact that he was not able to live up to his mother's expectations as a child. Even though he was not ready for that role or it was not age appropriate, that message still remains ingrained in his core, even into adulthood. So when he grows up, like any normal male, he also seeks connection and love from women. But when a woman comes too close, he begins to feel trapped and smothered and drained. He feels as though the walls are closing in on him and the air is being sucked out of the room. Still, despite all of this, he craves the love, but he also feels like he's being swallowed when somebody comes too close to him. So at this stage, he does not know how to be relational without losing himself in the other person. He also does not know how to respond to the pull of neediness in another person uh, without completely immersing himself in that person. So in the next two videos, we will see other ill effects of the uh, presence of a controlling mother on an adult man, and the third part we will talk about permanent healing. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned for more videos in the next days.